Good afternoon, this is Tony Dottino, and good afternoon, I am Tony Dottino, founder of the USA Memory Championship, and doing my Live with Tony on Tuesday afternoon, running a little bit later. I normally try to get on at 3 o'clock. Had a really good Zoom call that went a little bit longer. The day is packed, so learning more and more about using Zoom and et cetera. But I am the founder of the USA Memory Championship and the president of Dottino Consulting. I've authored 2 books. One was Grassroots Leader, and the second was Brain Smart Leader. Things that people should know about the human mind in order to be able to create the best possibilities they can in their lives. And so my Live with Tony broadcasts are the continuation of those in 10 to 15 minute bite-sized pieces that people can grab. And as I was reading the current August 7th issue of the Orlando Business Journal, it just gave me the title of an article that has just got so much meat in it that I wanted to share that with my Live with Tony audience. So yesterday, I started with some of the statistics they've discovered from a survey they've done with 1,000 people and the impact that's having on stress and burnout. And what I wanted to share today is I think we all would know that when we're in a state of stress, sometimes stress is good for us, sometimes stress is not good for us. So in this moment of COVID-19 that we're in right now, and we put ourselves and find ourselves getting into a stressful situation, what's happening to our brain and what's happening to our ability to stay focused and do the things that we need to be able to do to maintain a level of brain health and physical health as well. And so this article really summarized, it goes on for 3 pages, but it really summarized what I've been saying over the last several months about stress and tips that I'm giving for brain health, for physical health as well. Because if we're in good stress, then we use that as we do workouts with weights or so. That's good stress, and we're strengthening our muscles. So we talk about stressing our muscles. We sometimes want to stress our brain, but we got to watch the lever that it stays focused on doing good things with the level of stress versus it does things that overflood our immune systems with cortisol. And then we find ourselves being poisoned or breaking down our immune systems. So when I talk about stress, the stress that I'm talking about in this employee burnout, diagnosis employee burnout, companies strive to assist workers coping with high stress levels. And so here we go. Much of what the stress is about are those dealing with the possibility of being evicted from their homes. Now, I've seen several articles over the last several days. Man, who wants to be evicted from their homes? You've got a family, a spouse, you're even alone. And now you got to worry about you paying your rent, you're unemployed, you might not be working, there's no income. What do you do with that? The possibility about evicted, you losing your income, maybe you got child care, maybe you've got family members, maybe you've got your own levels of stress and anxiety, and there's no timeline. This is the problem I talk about in my Grassroots Leader book. I talk about when the brain is craving completeness and it doesn't have it, it adds to the anxiety and the stress levels we have. So our brain craves to have complete pictures, don't leave. So you go get a test at the doctor's office, a blood test or an MRI, and what you crave next is what are the results. I want to know what my blood test results are. I want to know what my I want to know how my mom is doing. I want to know how my kids are doing. I want to know how people are. I want to fill in the blanks. And now it comes along and basically says, but there's no end in sight here. There's no firm timeline for when these issues are going to all be resolved, and we go back to what we're calling normal. Who knows what that normal is going to be? And it's not like we say here in Florida, it's not like a hurricane where you know it's coming, you're going to get popped, then it goes away, and then you may be out of power, you may have trees and house damage or whatever, but you now can mobilize what you need to do, and if you have a company, a job, family, people will rally about to help you get back on your feet. In the COVID-19 era right now, it has got uncertainty all over it. And what I keep trying to say to people is there's no one, I don't care if it's in Washington, D.C., and it's in the Senate or the House of Reps or in the administration, it's in governors' offices and mayor's offices in the big cities. No one's got the cookbook on this. It's never happened to us before in our lifetime. So that uncertainty adds to the stress levels and to the burnout because we don't know about our jobs, our houses, our family, and it's not a hurricane. What else is bad is how often do we get uplifting news and positive stories? It seems like the daily news broadcast just piles more on to this has happened badly and this one's saying that, and we just sit and listen to news every day and how many people have got the virus and how many people have died. And so we're barraged in our media with just making this, and now we have kids going back to school. And what are we going to find out with kids going back to school? You got all these media folks making their own predictions with no scientific background at all, and what are they doing? Hyping, hey, you better keep listening to our news. Like, I always love the media guys with the weather, right? The weather people, they're the best at it. How do I tell you about, oh, you got to watch this storm. Maybe it'll be here for 10 days, but you keep watching it now, so you watch me every day, and I'll give you updates. So I tell people, don't watch so much television, or go watch, fun programs or old reruns of stuff that you enjoy. Hogan's Hero is on, go watch Hogan's Heroes. The nonprofit, so let's see what else we got here. What you want to be able to make sure you do is you're talking to someone. Vent with someone, pick up a phone, do a Zoom, go out and stand on your porch or go out a window and talk to somebody else and just say, God, it reminds me of the movie Network where Peter Finch goes out and says, God, I'm not going to take it anymore. My goodness, get yourself out into a social, safe environment where you can get to see other people and at least talk to them. If you got kids, get them to talk to you. I'm seeing more and more about kids. I'm learning more and more about the stress kids are feeling, especially now here in Florida. They're starting to go back to school. Who's listening to the kids? So what this is suggesting is bosses. Now, this is what I was saying yesterday. Hey, bosses, are you listening to your employees? Well, who's listening to the boss? Who's the boss get to talk to? Where does this pyramid stop? Hey, we go up the line. We got to be talking to people. We're in this communical affair together. We're all in this unpredicted stage, and we're all in the state of what's going to happen next. Oh, goodness. Next. What's happening to the company's financial position? What's happening to the household's financial position? So we've got a whole diversity of information that's just causing us to want to be complete. And so all of these just add to the blanks that people have, that add to the stress levels that people have, and what can we do about it? Oh my goodness. Studies that have been done in other countries have shown that the medical professionals, 57% of medical professionals have developed anxiety that's caused by the break, and 50% of medical professionals have gone into depression. Healthcare workers, our heroes of the day, are dealing with this day after day after day with people coming in through different parts of their hospital, the ED department and ICU units and their PCU units and things. They're coming through different departments and units in the hospital, and this is where people are dying as well. So our healthcare workers are equally facing a level of anxiety and stress. Now, what does all this do to our brains? What we know is a constant flood of stress that then leads to anxiety begins to change the chemistry of inside your own neural pathways, your own thinking and emotional pathways. And you can now start to feel your body begin to hunch upward, tense. And for me, it's here in my jaws. It might be in my neck and my shoulders. Where are you feeling your stress levels? And what can you do about it? So what I'm trying to say to people, stay in a routine. Get out and find an hour every day for yourself. Just give yourself an hour of permission to do nothing. And begin to bring yourself down and reach out and find people that you can talk with. And maybe folks can help you navigate the pathway that we're all facing right now of uncertainty and blanks that we need to fill out. I'm working with a few people and just saying, hey, it's okay to feel like there's no end in sight right now. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but it's okay not to know what the answer book is right now because we've never experienced this before. But there are groups of people in this together. And of course, it impacts your memory, your ability to focus. So I say to people, work on learning something new. Build a new skill, find yourself growing. Get online where you can. Find yourself in that quiet space and spend 15 minutes learning something new every day. Just a shorter period of time. That's my message for today. I've covered this, my second part of this. Tomorrow we'll pick up something new. I've got a couple of things that I've gotten in my mail that I want to cover. I just wish I could put them all in at once and you could absorb them all at one time, but I'm spacing them out and giving them to you in smaller bite-sized pieces. So for today, have a good afternoon and evening. I'll be back on Wednesday in the 7 p.m. hour.